Hey guys, it's Andrew. I'm 10vivman, and I have a battle here against the YouTuber Elo. It was a pretty fun match, a standard OU match, and let's get this battle started. Sorry for my webcam quality. It's kind of bad, but it's okay. I'm going to lead off with my Swampert. It's a standard OU lead with Stealth Rocks and all that fun stuff. He leads off of Virizion. I'm not gonna stay in here at Virizion, force those dangerous stab moves that could force me out. So I go into my Sizzle, predicting a grass move, and he goes for the Giga Drain. So, which is a good play on my part. Absorb the attack, barely does anything. So yeah, looking pretty good. He switches out, not wanting to take any moves. So he switches out into a pretty obvious Arcanine. So gets the Intimidate off. So, but I am going to U-turn to keep my momentum going early on. So it actually does a decent chunk. I mean, I'm a Banded Scizor, so it does a fairly good chunk. And I kind of make a misplay here and go straight into my Haxorus. I should have switched back into Swampert, but out comes Haxorus. This is actually a DD set. He goes straight for the Extreme Speed. I was tempted to set up a Dragon Dance, but then I realized, oh yeah, Extreme Speed. So, uh, yeah, he takes some Life Orb recoil, and then I go straight for the Earthquake, and of course I'm added at max attack, and it's being super effective. That will take out the Arcanine. So down goes Arcanine, and then he sends out, I think, Staraptor. Yeah, Staraptor comes in, shiny Staraptor, and I'm like, I want to preserve Haxorus for a little later, so I switch out and going back into my Swampert. And my Swampert is the standard Smogon set of near practically max defense, and this, I believe, is a banded Staraptor. I could be wrong, but I take that Brave Bird really well, like really well. Barely does half, and of lefties, I figure I can most likely take another hit, so I can have a chance to set up my Stealth Rocks. So he goes again for the stab Brave Bird, and yep, I live with 23 HP, which is awesome. So I get up my rocks, which is great, and plays a big role later on in the match. And he's actually oh no, that's right, he's lefties. I forgot about that. Which is I rarely see lefties on Staraptor because it's so weird. I'm used to seeing Bandit or Scarfed. Well, it's actually a pretty decent set. I think he has Roost on this thing too, but he goes off and finishes me off with Brave Bird. So down goes Swampert, but it got its job done. It set up the rocks as he takes some recoil, gets some lefties going, and then I send out the MVP of my match, which is my Victini. And Victini is going to go straight for that stab V create and take out that Staraptor right clean out. And he was not aware of this at this point. My Victini's actually scarfed. So it's kind of weird because Scarf Victini is kind of a rarity. Most are usually banded or etc. or even the Trick Room variants. But he goes down and sends out Gengar, and I'm like, oh no, Gengar. I do not want to take a Shadow Ball, especially for -1 special defense. So I go back into Scizor, but he predicts that and he goes for the HP Fire, and I'm like, oh no. Turns out this Gengar is like specifically designed to help counter Gengar or Scizors and any other bug steals like Fortress, Risk Cavalier. So down goes Scizor, and I'm like, oh, facepalm. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. So it was a great prediction by him. As I go back into Victini, and he's going for the protect. Just to scout out what I want to do. I'm going to go straight for the stab, Zen headbutt, not wanting to lock myself into V create, but I knew he's going to switch, so I just decided to stay in to see what he switches into, to see what I want to do. He goes down into Jirachi, and this is his Scarf Jirachi, and I go for the Zen headbutt. Of course, being Jirachi quad resist that, so it's not going to do much at all, like at all. But I'm going to switch out, and I believe, yeah, that's right, going to Conkeldurr. So out comes Conkeldurr, and he goes straight for the Iron Head. And I don't know if it's his Jolly. It might have been a speed tie between me and Victini, but I was not going to stay, and I was because I was locked in as a headbutt. So But it does a decent chunk to Conkeldurr, but I take it overall really well. But he keeps iron heading me, hoping for that flinch. Not going to happen. This is a max HP, max special defense Conkeldurr. Does I go for the bulk up? So that's great. I get him a +1 attack, +1 defense. And he may not stay in, but I want to be safe and go straight for the Drain Punch. So, but of course he's going to switch out because he does not want to take a Drain Punch. So when he goes back out into Gengar, hoping to absorb a fighting hit, which he does because I want to go for the, the safe stab. I don't want to overprotect, and besides, Payback is weakened when the foe switches out anyway. So, but he goes for the stab Shadow Ball, and I'm like, I can live this. I can live this. Conkeldurr, you are bulky. You are bulky. And he lives with 58 HP. Gets a rather useless special defense drop. As he takes life orb damage. As I go straight for the payback. And yeah, I was so glad I lived that because Gengar was giving me so many problems. So payback takes out Gengar. And down it goes as I, absorb some more lefties. And now as a last ditch of resort, anything that comes in is going to eat a Mach Punch. So out comes Virizion, which of course will easily take me out. But of course I go straight for the Mach Punch. +1 Mach Punch is a decent chunk to Virizion overall. But he goes for the Giga Drain, of course, to finish me off and restore actually a decent amount of HP back, because Conkeldurr, of course, has max HP. So, but down goes Conkeldurr. He did his job. He got rid of Gengar and gave him some problems. So, but he, of course, Virizion restores some HP. As out comes back out Victini. And of course, I threatened him out of both stabs, but I think I don't. He stays in. I can't remember the reason why, but I go, of course, straight for the V-Create, and that is just going to wreck Virizion. So down that goes. Stab, 180 base power. My Victini is actually adamant, so it just wrecks anything that really doesn't resist it. So, but down goes Virizion, and he sends out his banded Terrakion. And I think his Terrakion is adamant, but of course I do not want to take an Earthquake, a Stone Edge, etc. So out comes Haxorus. I want to see what he locks himself into. Haxorus basically comes in as Death Otter, so I'm kind of glad I saved it in early on in the match. Goes for Earthquake. Of course, it will easily take out my Haxorus. So down Haxorus goes. And then I go into Celebi. And of course, he's locked into Earthquake, so he switches out. I could have gone for the nasty plot here, but I decided not to, and I wanted to go straight for the Giga Drain just to be safe. But out comes Jirachi. I go for the Giga Drain, and he resists it, so it doesn't do too much, but takes some Life Orb recoil, big deal. And he goes for the U-turn, and I'm like, oh shoot, I should have seen that coming, just because, Jirachi scarfed, how high, U-turn. But it turns out I actually lived the U-turn of 20 HP, which is huge. And really, I think that was the game-changing play right there. The U-turn didn't KO me, but I revealed to him I do indeed have the Earth power, and I just wanted to be safe with the Giga Drain early on. So, but Earth power takes him down, doesn't KO him, but it brings him down to a point where he cannot afford to switch out again to avoid killing himself due to Stealth Rocks. So down goes Celebi from Life Orb, and I'm like, and out comes my last, Victini. And Victini, I have to lock myself into V-Create, because I don't have a chance if I lock myself into Zen Headbutt. So boom, down goes Terrakion into V-Create. Takes some recoil, big whoop. Or not recoil, but, stat drops. So, but Terrakion goes down, Pain Train goes down, and his last, of course, being his Scarf Jirachi, and his only chance of winning this is if he flinch hacks me to death, which, I don't want to happen, but if it happens, it happens. But I take that Iron Head surprisingly well from -1, but he does not get the flinch hacks, and I will go straight for the V-Create, and that will be the game. So it was a really fun match, Elo. I had a lot of fun. It was a great game. I hope to battle you again in the future sometime. It was too much fun. A complete honor. Hope you guys enjoyed. So I've been rambling for 10 minutes. So That's cool, but good game. Hope you all have a good day, and talk to you later. Bye.